Hey there, this is Jacques from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. So this is maybe a little more of an exciting edition than the last few weeks. We have seen some pretty big changes in the standard market, especially due to the fact that last week was the first official week of Eldritch Moon Spoilers. So let's jump in and see how these spoilers are impacting the market. We're going to begin with standard, and as always, we're going to look at the top 5 cards that have lost value this week. And you're going to notice a lot of the same cards on this list, and basically it is because the format is about to change. A lot of players aren't interested in investing in some of the high ticket, more expensive cards at this point, and they're starting to lose a little bit of ground. Coming in at number 5 is Pyromancer's Goggles, losing 67 cents to 6.08. Number 4 is Dragonlord Ojutai, losing 86 cents to 11.13. Number 3 is Archangel Avacyn, losing $1.04 to 24.42. Number 2 is Chandra Flamecaller, losing $1.08 to 17.39. And finally, coming in at number 1 yet again is Jace Vern's Prodigy, losing $2.19 to 35.78. I have mentioned this the last few weeks in a row. Jace has lost a ton of value over the last few months, and because of that, a lot of collectors and a lot of players are just trying to liquidate their copies of Jace. So you can most likely find this much cheaper than $35 if you really want to get a play set out there. Look at some of the big marketplaces. You can find this card sometimes in certain regions as low as $20. So keep an eye out for it. You might be able to find a deal on this one. It is a card that we'll see play in the future in other formats, so it's not a bad long-term investment if you can get a good deal on this. Alright, let's look at the top 5 standard cards that have gained value this week, and here's where you're really going to see the impact of some of these spoilers from the previous week. Coming in at number 5 is Prized Amalgam. This has gone up 17 cents to $1.49. Not a huge increase, although some folks are starting to hedge their bet a little bit because of a card that was spoiled last week called Gissa and Giraffe, which plays really well with this card. Coming in at number 4 is Ever After, another small increase of 23 cents to 64 cents. However, this card's captured a lot of players' imaginations because of the way it interacts with Brunette and Gazella, which were also spoilers from last week. Coming in at number 3 is Triskaidekaphobia, going up $1.91 to $2.27. Now, this was kind of considered a novelty card when it was released in Shadows over Innistrad. However, spoiler season this week, we saw a card called Tree of Perdition, which actually combos very well with this. Number 2, Demonic Pack, going up $2.84 to $5.05. And speaking of combos, there's a card that was spoiled called Harmless Offering that again would combo with, in this case, Demonic Pack. And number 1 is Relentless Dead. This has gone up $2.85 to $9.28. And here's a zombie card. I think it is starting to become more and more clear that zombies could potentially be a thing after Eldritch Moon's release. So a lot of players are gravitating towards what may be the best zombie card in Shadows over Innistrad. Alright, let's move on to Modern. Now, when we look at the cards that are cold in Modern right now, nothing too exciting here. You're going to see very little change. So let's just jump in and take a look. Coming at number 5 is Hell's Caretaker 9th edition. This saw a spike not too long ago, and it's just stabilizing. It lost 77 cents to $5.65 this week. Coming at number 4 is Voice of Resurgence, losing 78 cents to $35.19. Number 3 is Greater Gargadon, and this is the Modern Masters version, losing 81 cents to $3.83. Number 2 is 10th edition Brushland, losing $1.04 to $8.73. This saw a nice little spike over the last few weeks because it was part of a modern Bant Eldrazi deck that was doing pretty well. It's starting to stabilize a little bit now. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Future Sight Tarmogoyf, losing, well, $1.10, bringing it down to $1.7858. Alright, now let's look at the hot cards in Modern. The first few aren't anything too drastic, but the top 2 are interesting. Coming in number 5 is Crucible of Worlds. This is the 5th Dawn edition, going up $1.21 to $67.80. Number 4 is Glips the Unthinkable, going up $1.24 to $36.57. Number 3 is actually the 9th edition Brushland, going up $1.51 to $7.69. Now, when the 10th edition started to take off, this one lagged behind a little bit, probably because of the white border. It didn't look quite as pretty as the other one, but now it's starting to catch up with the 10th edition version. Number 2 is Nimbus Maze, and this went up $4.90 this week to $35. Now, last week, this was part of a buyout, which caused it to spike pretty hard. Even though you're seeing an increase this week, it's actually just stabilizing at about the top of its curve for when it originally spiked. I do expect this to come down a little bit, but I don't know if it will come down that much, even though it did have a big spike the last few weeks. This is a card that you could argue was undervalued. And finally, coming in number 1 is Allosaurus Rider, going up $9.52 to $10.36. Probably wondering, how is this possible? Why Allosaurus Rider? Again, it has to do with the Eldritch Moon Spoilers. There's a card spoiled called Eldritch Evolution that combos incredibly well with this card. Basically, with that and this, you could potentially play a 9 casting cost creature on turn 2. Seems quite good. Alright, let's move on to Legacy. And Legacy this week is going to be all about reserve list cards on both the hot and cold list. All 10 cards we're going to look at are on the reserve list. Now, the ones that are coming down in value are some that, for the most part, recently spiked. Coming in, number 5 is Fork Unlimited version, going down $11 to $54.99. This card spiked not too long ago. Number 4 is Island of Walk Walk, losing $16.01 to $45.80. This one actually spiked last week. Number 3 is Candelabra of Tawnos, going down $16.73 to $366.65. Number 2 is The Tabernacle Ependril Val, going down $33.60, but it's still at a healthy $1,418.49. And finally, coming at number 1 is Moat, losing $52.98 this week to $7.05. This spiked really hard last week. It was another product of a buyout, and it's starting to stabilize a little bit. But again, where this will maybe lose some more value, it's not going to go down to where it was before the buyout. Alright, let's look at the top 5 cards that are hot right now in Legacy. And you're going to see some influence here, I really believe, from the old school format this week. There's a couple cards on here that see a lot of play in old school, and I think that could be combined with also the fact that their reserve list cards could be fueling some of their popularity. Coming in number 5 is Tropical Island, and this is the unlimited version, going up $19.22 to $338.39. Number 3, Ollie from Cairo, going up $24.62 to $72.97. Now, back in the old days of Magic, this was actually a very popular card and a very valuable card. Over the years, it lost value due to the fact that it wasn't as powerful anymore as Magic evolved. However, it is a reserve list card. It is a very iconic card, especially from the old days of Magic, and I think that it's going to lead some collectors to try to pick this up, especially considering it is a card that is under $100 at this point. So keep an eye on this one. I think this will continue to go up, and I do think this also has some influence from old school players as well. Coming in number 3 is Underground Sea, and this is unlimited version, going up $74.80 to $544.79. Number 2, Juzaim Djinn, going up $97.65 to $580.97. Much like Ali from Cairo, this is another card that was very iconic. It's a reserve list card from Arabian Nights, the first Magic expansion, and due to the art and also the power level of the card at the time, this was very popular and has kept its popularity for the most part over the years. But seeing a spike like this doesn't surprise me. In the old school format, there's a deck that wants to play 4 of these, and on top of that, it's also a very iconic reserve list card. Coming in at number 1, Lion's Eye Diamond. This went up $113.92 this week to $245.41. A couple things going on here. Obviously, there was a buyout that caused this kind of large spike in the card. However, the interesting thing about Lion's Eye Diamond is it's a very popular card, popular with Storm players, and is necessary for Storm decks. So even though, yes, a buyout caused this to spike, this card you could argue was undervalued at the time. Having said that, that's the market watch for this week. So thanks for watching. As always, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
Hey, thanks as always for watching. This video, like all my videos, was made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Even a donation of $1 helps me to keep growing this community and creating better quality videos for all of you. Check out our Patreon page for exclusive giveaways and future goals for the channel. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, product openings, or finance videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a good day.